Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from Dallas Cowboys training camp in Oxnard, California.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown. Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
Reporting to you live.
For those who are just now tuning in, this is officially Talkin Cowboys Race 2025.
That's
Here
right.
from Oxnard, California. Patrik "No-See" Walker, Tommy Yarrish. This is a bet that stemmed from who making the challenge? It was Tommy Yarrish that made the challenge. So as the challenger, Tommy, I would like you to tell us why this came about.
To be honest, I don't know. I don't remember. I just remember I was just talking some smack in the office one day. I never imagined it would amount to anything remotely close to this.
Okay. I believe the term was anytime, anywhere, right, Patrik?
That was the term anytime, anywhere. And as much as he's downplaying the wardrobe, keep in mind this is the same young man who sat across from me at the office and said he could smoke me in some hard bottoms.
Any last words? What advice do you have for your competitor, Mr. No-See over here?
Oh, I just don't want anybody to blow a hamstring.
There's been a lot of trash talk.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of back and forth. But Isaiah Stanback, we're finally getting to settle it today.
You know what? We're here. The time is now. I mean, why would you wait? I mean, we have somebody in, looks like Mr. Freeze on the left, and then we have somebody's second uncle on the right. I mean, we're going to see exactly what's the best outfit. But I'm really excited about this, Kyle. There's been a lot of smack talking going back and forth over some time, but the moment is here.
All right, here we go. Here it is. Off to a great start. Patrik's got a lead. Oh, he's backing into it.
He
Oh!
lost the race because of that.
It's a photo finish. Goodness, that was tight. Patrik had that thing done. It was over.
Come over here, fellas. Now, about midway through, about 17 yards into the race, it looked like you had a little hitch in your giddy-up, sir. How would you tell us what happened there?
Yeah, hitching a giddy up has kind of always been my thing. Was expecting that, but we finished strong, right? It's not about how you start; it's about how you finish.
Patrik, what went into that decision? Was it just, did he get in your head with the taunting, with the trash talk? What happened?
It was just me having fun, man. Because, I mean, if I look back and there's a whole football field between me and my competitor, why not have some fun? Why not have some fun?
It's a wonderful Wednesday edition of Talkin Cowboys presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company here from Oxnard, California. And the field behind us is not only home to training camp in 2025, but it was home to the race of the century. Patrik "No-See" Walker
The champ is here!
spinning his way. You had it won. You really did. You spun your way to a photo finish. We'll reveal the champion of that momentarily of who actually won via photo review. But alongside Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Chris Beam in the front, I'm Kyle Youmans. That was a lot of fun.
That was a ton of fun. Best podcast going.
Not a competition.
Period. Shouts out to Tommy Yarrish. And for those that forget, Tommy called me out and, I warned him time and again. And for those that were like, oh, No-See stalling, sometimes you try to save a friend from themselves.
You know what? In addition
But they just don't listen.
In addition to you and Tommy and the rest of the Talkin Cowboy squad, shout out to the entire Dallas Cowboys squad.
It was amazing
for playing a role in this.
Thomas, Jason,
what's what the fans don't see. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Team.
That was a
This is
whole
something
production.
that started off as just some smack talking, and then it turned into, hey, everybody's about to go to lunch. When we come back from lunch, we're gonna do this race. And then by the time Kyle came back, we had our entire video production crew that heard about the race. They heard about it through the
And
grapevine.
wanted
They were
in.
like, I want
They
in on
wanted
this. They
in.
started grabbing equipment, microphones, video. I mean, one person was like, I'm going up in the booth.
Yeah.
So I can get the good video.
They were in the tower.
And then Ann was like, hey, I want to go do it. I want to go follow along the side with the doggone, whatever you want to call them.
The gimbal.
The gimbal.
Yeah.
And then we had the low shot from out. Listen, total production. I loved it. This is a team effort. Love everything about the Dallas Cowboys organization and our media team.
It was just so much fun, man. And then the fact, icing on the cake, Kyle Youmans, Isaiah Stanback treating it as if it's training camp live.
Yes.
Right?
Full broadcast production.
The intro, the introductory interviews, the during the race analysis. Just sensational. I love these
you know
guys.
what? I am
man. I
proud
love
of
these
you
guys. I love these
for
guys.
taking the time to stretch.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
You took the time about 40 minutes before the race. I saw No C walk in the gym. I said, that man's not playing around.
I don't play around.
He's here to win.
Would you call it track mode?
Track mode. You got to stretch the glutes, the hams, the quads, the Achilles, the calves. Like you need that lower half good and limber.
Meanwhile, I saw Tommy finish up a hot dog just before we started racing. He's like, I just need my fuel for the day. Go like a
Joey Chestnut.
Like an eating competition.
Do you think that his lack of preparation contributed to his loss?
You know, I think his challenging me in the first place contributed to his loss. But shouts out to Tommy again. I see you tapping in on the comments. He's over there in the tent. He's watching this whole thing. But seriously, Tommy and I. That's a brother of mine. That was fun. But hey, I did warn you, T.Y. I said, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Reconsider.
Read some litter.
What should I got? Read some litter. Sure on this subject. You sure? Okay. But no, that was fun. And 2 turnarounds during the race was because once we got to the 15-yard line,
listen,
I was like, all right.
I was concerned for No C's ACL.
Oh, that second turn.
When he hit the 0 button. Okay, when he hit the circle button, I was highly concerned. I was like, no.
I will say, I needed cleats for the turn, right? I needed cleats for the turn. You know what I mean? So that's my center fielder turn, but you need the cleats for that. Hard to do that in running shoes.
All those that are out there talking Cowboys Nation, in the chat right now, I need you guys, now that you guys have seen the footage, I know a lot of you all listen, go watch the footage, and after you've seen the footage, we need you to comment in the comment section. Can you take down No C in the 40?
Wow.
We need you guys to go ahead and comment.
Next camp,
some of these comments are phenomenal. Some of
No-C.
these are unbelievable. I mean, the No C had that before it even started.
Facts, though. I tried
Y'all
to tell
both
him.
hella slow.
I want you to come here.
I raced the guy in front of our building at work one time.
Love that.
His name is
Competitiveness.
#No C Racer.
Okay,
Great ones here. These are really
hey, listen,
funny.
shouts out to 4700. Anybody that's down to say, you know what, on lunch break, let's step outside. I love that. It's competitive nature. Let's go. Intensity.
I have reviewed the tapes, all angles that were possible. I will say the person who crossed the finish line first was Tommy Yarrish. He got you by a shoulder blade.
Because
you got to look at where the chest is, where they cross, and Tommy had you just barely.
Had he not hit
the speed question is done.
But if he didn't hit the circle button, how much would he have won by?
By maybe 15
yards. You could have driven a truck through the gap if I stay at top gear.
Heavy.
If I stay at top
gear. If you look at that
gear.
side angle, he was 7 yards ahead when he turned.
Pulling.
What was Tommy pulling? So I'm mentioning pulling because he looked like he was pulling a sled.
Yeah, a trailer.
It was something.
You got to unhook the trailer.
It looked like there was a
wagon.
Like you said,
whoa.
I mean, please.
That's crazy. Hey, that's crazy.
The Rams were in town
that's
on
crazy.
Tuesday. We had conversations off of that. We're going to hit the defense in the second segment. We're going to go with offense first here and kind of outline what we saw from the Cowboys' offensive attack. Josh, I'll start with you. I mean, for the most part, it was a back and forth on that field, the field that was closest to the fans with Dak Prescott and company. Gets a really talented front seven, Jared Verse leading the way for the Rams. What were your thoughts with how the offense performed on Tuesday?
It was exactly what I was afraid of going in. I think the offensive line being beat up a little bit. I mean, granted, you don't have Tyler Guyton in there, and granted, he wasn't necessarily going to be your be-all, end-all, best left tackle position possible, or left tackle possible. But, I mean, I'm thinking going into this, they're going to be aggressive. And last year we saw the same thing where our offensive line was pushed around quite a bit. And I was like, please just don't be a replication of that. And unfortunately, it felt like that. It felt like there was just more power on their defensive line versus our offensive line. And the run game was not going anywhere. I think Javonte Williams had maybe a few carries that were in the positive yardage, but for the most part, we had a lot of running backs getting tackled in the backfield, tackled in quotations there. And you saw the offense start to click when they were going to the outside, when they're going to CD, when they were going to George Pickens, and then you saw Terp start to get open, Terp start to get some play. I love seeing Terp get involved in the offense more. I really don't want to see the jump catch much from him anymore, but that's just one of those things that he has to work through. what is indicative to me the most, though, is that the offense needs to run through the wide receivers to get going. And you saw Jake Ferguson and you saw Luke Schoonmaker getting chippy out there. Like, you love to see it, the aggression, the attitude that we're trying to portray. At least for me, it was tough to see the run game not get going, and I hope that's not what we rely on. We need to kind of focus on the pass and get that open to therefore open the running lanes.
And I agree with Josh. And looking at the offense, which is what I focused on yesterday, because I wanted to see a lot of different things. I wanted to see how the chemistry of Dak and George Pickens translates to an actual opponent on the field. But primarily, I wanted to see if this running game could get going, and it could not. So one of the same primary concerns that the Cowboys had coming off of the 2024 season, inability to consistently, bully guys and be physical enough up front to move that line. They suffered that against in the scrimmage yesterday. Now, granted, this is not this is not a group of Jags on the defensive line and the defensive front, whether it be the defensive line or the linebackers. The Rams have some dudes. They got some dudes, right? From Puna to Jared, and the list goes on. But that's the level of competition that you need to be gauging yourself upon, because guess what? The Philadelphia Eagles got some dudes. Washington Commanders got some dudes. New York Giants got some dudes.
Both of those teams are more loaded than the Rams.
Exactly.
And the Rams are a good front seven.
Yeah, so a little disconcerting to see that, the Cowboys offensive line wasn't able to get as much push. Now, I will give a little bit of grace, I said this yesterday, to the fact that they have two backups on the left side, left of center. So they had Brock Hoffman taking primarily the snaps at left guard.
It was good to see Tyler
in place
Smith
of Tyler Smith. Yeah, a little bit, right.
He was in there for like the 7-on-7 in the red zone period.
And then, of course, you had Nate Thomas, and you had the backup tackle situation with Tyler Guyton out. And unfortunately, that's Jared versus side. So things were challenging with the run game. We'll see if it improves. So yeah, that's a huge red flag. But I will say, to Josh's point, impressed with this passing attack.
Yeah.
AT&T has a new guarantee, because most things in life are not guaranteed, like getting through self-checkout by yourself.
Warning, each item must be placed in the bagging area.
Not guaranteed.
Place item in the bagging area. Place item in the bagging area.
You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, deals you want, and service you deserve. Or we make it right. Terms and conditions apply. Visit att.com/guarantee for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a Pepper thing.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Sorry about the technical difficulties, but we are back here from Oxnard, California.
Hacked by Tommy Yarrish.
What was that?
Hacked by Tommy Yarrish.
You think we were hacked by Tommy?
We were hacked by either that or someone on the break.
TY hacked in, you guys.
Because the break just can't take as much fun.
Is it the TY or DE? One of the two.
One of the two.
One of the two.
We're going to have a complete investigation as to why our stream crashed in the middle of it. But we're back alongside Patrik, Isaiah, Josh. I'm Kyle. We've already gone through one break, so we can just keep going. We only have one more to take. So, Patrik, you were making a point on the Cowboys' joint practice with the Rams. I want you to restart the point for who either may be joining us or didn't get a chance to hear.
Yeah, quick synopsis of what I was saying is that, unfortunately, the improvement in the running game that I was looking for has not arrived just yet. Now, that's a scrimmage, still have 3 preseason games to go, and then, of course, games begin. But I would like to see the Cowboys able to get push up front. That's something that they were not able to do with the offensive line. Isaiah talked about it ad nauseum over the 2024 season. We were talking about a combination of the running back struggling, but also the offensive line. Now you have a rebuilt offensive line, but I am giving them some grace on the left side with backups. Brock Hoffman, Tyler Smith, they get some reps as he tries to work himself back from an injury that's of no major concern. But then you saw Nate Thomas. He had a couple of good reps against Jared Verse. So kudos to Nate Thomas for that. But for the most part, the run game was non-existent until the passing attack. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb especially, Jake Ferguson, Kevontae Turpin, George Pickens got into the mix. The list went on and on. That passing attack looked as if it could do whatever it wanted to do whenever it wanted to do that. So yesterday's scrimmage was kind of a microcosm of, if you can't set up the pass with the run, set up the run with the pass. But the fact that the Cowboys have the ability to do that is at least promising.
Well, Kyle, I spent about 70% of my time with the Dallas Cowboys defense versus the Rams offense.
This is what I want to hear, because I was on the offense.
I understand.
We gotta wait.
I'm prefacing this, okay?
Let's go.
The reason why I spent 70%. Yes, I know. Because 70% of the time was spent over with the defense because I had a good idea of what it was going to look like for our offense versus the Rams defense.
Okay.
What was that? What did it feel like?
Going into it, people were asking me, how's everything looking? I said, you don't know until you play another team. And the Rams run a 3-4. The reality is you haven't been working against a 3-4. Also, the reality is you had backups in. No disrespect to those guys, but those guys are not on the talent level of a Verse and Poona Ford and some of the other guys that they have. This is a
Turner and
absolutely. I mean, these guys are an outfit that went to the divisional. These guys could ball. So I had a good idea that we were going to have some struggles up front. Just schematically, not even just from a personnel standpoint. But from what I did see, it was the defensive line was kind of collapsing the holes. There wasn't many holes to run through. They were getting in the backfield to our quarterbacks often, more often than you would hope for. But when we had time, let's get to the positive. When we had time to sit back and throw the ball, you saw splash plays.
Yeah,
you saw. It's one thing to have time to throw the ball as a quarterback, but it's another thing for your receivers to actually get open. Receivers were getting open, and when the quarterback had time, he was able to deliver the ball, accurate ball, for big plays, whether it been to CD or freaking Turpin, Brooks. It didn't really matter. The guys were getting open, so that's a positive. Now you just got to get to the point where the quarterback actually can get it there because he needs time to actually deliver the rock.
I think the most interesting thing I saw yesterday was just how much the wide receivers built separation. I mean, how many times have we sat on this show and called for that over the last 3 or 4 years? More separation, more separation, more separation. We finally got it. We got that separation. Then you look at what this offense did in the offensive line against the front seven. This is a team last year in Los Angeles that was 22nd in rushing defense. They were 20th in pass defense. They were 26th overall in total yardage allowed. They were not a top 20 defense in the NFL. They looked like a top 5 defense in the NFL. And they have talent, don't get me wrong. Like you said, Poona Ford, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner. I thought we saw some good things from Nick Hampton yesterday from the linebacker spot. He was wearing that number 6 in blue yesterday, and he had a good practice. And then, of course, Jared Verse was the NFC Defensive Player of the Year, or Defensive Rookie of the Year. I was discouraged coming out of it because I thought the offensive line would perform better.
Same.
I thought
was hoping.
the interior of
Yeah.
that offensive line would
was
perform
hoping.
better. Not just because of the injuries, and the injuries are going to play a factor. When you look at the list of guys that were out yesterday, it's significant, or at least missed time or was limited yesterday. It's significant, but it's also practice, and it was the first benchmark. The first benchmark did not pass.
Did not pass. No.
They had
It did not pass.
a lot of things go wrong, and it wasn't just
The rushing attack was an F. The rushing attack was an F.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Brian Schottenheimer was talking about kind of playing vanilla here in practice and like the
Not
scheming
going to
up.
show a lot.
Yeah. They weren't going to show a lot, but if it's 1v1, we lost. And especially in the trenches. It was really disconcerting in that respect. Does that change when you're able to scheme a little more and, line up, tight ends where Jared versus to help Chip? Who knows? But at this point, just power on power, we lost.
Listen, I love Shotty, and anybody who has heard his press conferences to date, go look at the energy difference between him prior to yesterday's practice and then after yesterday's practice.
Yeah, his press conference yesterday was after.
You can tell. You can say we're running vanilla plays all day long. He was disappointed.
He expected
and
more.
he actually mentioned that they gave them fits. And the reality is, when you go against a defense that is that drastically different than the scheme that you're used to going against, you have to be able to scheme up against that. Your blocking assignments are different. Your protections are different. Everything about your operation offensively in terms of protection and or blocking on the ground game is different. So to expect the offense to go out there and have a productive day against a team that runs a completely different scheme and outfit than your defense is unrealistic. They run 3-4 primarily. Stand-up defensive ends. They ran the Mike Zimmer with the double A gap with the linebackers. Like, everything about what they did yesterday in practice at their core is completely different. So you can remember what it looks like on paper when you're installing it in training camp, when you're learning your 150 plays every other day. But in reality, if I haven't worked the communication, worked the logistics, the operation, you're not set up for success.
Yeah.
So I'm not putting a bunch of weight on the practice, but it's great for those guys to get that film because you're going to face defenses that run that.
I think what you said there is important to remember is take the film and learn from it. Take what went right, what went wrong, and learn from it. But it's a practice that's ultimately 29 days out from your first regular season game.
Yeah.
There's still a long way to go here, and it's just a practice. But it is a benchmark.
It is.
And that's the first opportunity.
That was the purpose
maybe
of
the only
it.
opportunity we'll see with these ones against ones in training camp. So there's a lot of weight put into the film, but it's not the only thing that's going to decide, oh my gosh, this is a 2-win team or a 5-win team
not
going
at
into
all.
2025.
Not at all.
Oh, I thought Patrick was going to
No, I was going to say not at all. You're correct. I mean, it has to be put in the context of while we're sitting here and we're grading it because we have the ability to do so and the right to do so because, again, this is a benchmark, as Kyle has said several times. You also put it in the context of you're 29 days out. It is a practice, right? And just kind of go from there. So, yeah, if you want to grade, okay, I'd give the passing attack like an A, maybe an A-. Rushing attack was an F. I wanted to see more from the offensive line. But again, there were cons, there were pros, and what do? You go watch the film, you build on that, and guess what? 3 days from as we have this conversation, your second team is back on the field against those guys, and let's see what the second team can do because you need to see what your depth is, and that's as important for this team, especially coming off the injuries they had last year, as it is to see what the ones can do against the ones.
But you also have opportunity now for your twos that are going to be playing, the twos and threes that are going to be playing in this game. How well can they receive coaching? How fast can they make the corrections? Because that is the defense that you're about to be facing on Saturday. So this is a great learning experience. I heard through the grapevine there was a lot of mental errors because, again, when you're installing this stuff, it's stuff you see on paper. But if you're not prepping, not repping it on the field, it's very, very difficult to go out there and be successful.
Well, and remember, it is a new scheme on both sides of the football, too.
Yeah.
So it is going to be a little bit different. Speaking of both sides of the football, I want to get to the defensive side because there was a lot on that field, too, that we've got to break down. A lack of pressure, lots of things that did not go right for the defense against one of the top passing attacks in football that are incoming here for 2025. More to come as we wrap up the joint practice against the Rams from Tuesday with more Talkin Cowboys right after this.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner. With over $9 billion in business loans and more than 140 business specialists right here in North Texas, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed, like getting through self-checkout by yourself.
Warning, each item must be placed in the bagging area.
Not guaranteed.
Place item in the bagging area. Place item in the bagging area.
You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, deals you want, and service you deserve. Or we make it right. Terms and conditions apply. Visit att.com/guarantee for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Once again, Isaiah, Patrick, and Josh. We've got Chris Bean in the front. I'm Kyle Youmans. Josh, I want you to tell me, scale of 1 to 10, yesterday's practice, the defense versus the Rams offense.
What's the high?
10 is you are winning the Super Bowl. 1 is we should blow it all up and try again next year.
Oh,
what? I think conservatively I'm at about a 4.
Is there a script?
That's even 4?
But that's the scale. That's the scale that I want to hit.
Blow
So
it up.
4?
Conservatively, I'm at a 4.
Okay.
I think if you're just looking at what you saw out there, maybe a 3. Yeah, but I think I've seen enough in practice before this to say that, this is just a really rough day for the cornerbacks. Devontae Adams was having his way with the secondary. It was, again, another word I keep using this episode is disconcerting. It just did not feel great to see that happening. Puka Nacua was doing his thing as well. But you saw the edge rushers sort of get back to it. The pressure wasn't there necessarily. Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing dimes all day long. Like, I think any quarterback would have done that, not just I mean, Janine Garofalo could have thrown a first down or 2.
But why?
Exactly.
That's nice.
Why? Right? You like that one?
That's nice.
It was no pressure. No pressure, especially up the middle. That was rough to see.
Yeah.
But I think you've seen enough from your edge rushers that you feel comfortable. But up the middle was rough yesterday.
Oh, so you're saying, just so I'm clear, 1 is the worst case scenario?
Yeah.
Blow it up. What are you saying?
That's the title.
I'm going to land at a 5.
There you go.
And the reason I land at a 5 is because although the Cowboys didn't get the pass rush that I wanted to see them get in the scrimmage, given the depth and the talent and ability they have in that room, I don't have concern there. I think that figures itself out and really quickly. What I saw was what I expected to see. Really, when you talk about a cornerback room coming into this camp, we have the receipts. We've said it time and again. It was, for me, the most concerning position on the depth chart. We saw that bear itself out yesterday with Devontae Adams in that group. Really didn't matter if it was Stetson Bennett throwing or Jimmy Garofalo or, like you said, Janine Garofalo. It doesn't matter. Fact was, they were getting separation on the guys. Now, of course, Trevon Diggs, he's not out there yet. We don't know what Savon Revel's going to be, but he's also not out there yet. You're still trying to figure out some things. But in assessing what was out there, not great, Bob.
Yep.
But I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed, but the expectation wasn't high in the first place.
Because we've been saying this about the secondary.
I can't be greatly disappointed. Okay. I can be disappointed in that my expectation was here, but I had hope that I would see something.
Can I read this list to you?
Come on.
This is the Cowboys that were not participating in yesterday's joint practice.
All right, here we go.
Let's start with the usual suspects. DeMarion Overshown, he's working his way back from a severe injury.
Starter.
Revel, working his way back from a severe injury. You want to say starter?
Potential starter.
No, potential starter. I don't see him beating out
year two.
Guys.
Year two starter.
Yeah, year one.
Micah Parsons. Of course, his situation.
Kind of a big deal.
I think he starts. You think he's starting?
No.
Tyler Guyton.
He had socks on.
He was not out there. He's
was on offense too.
Yep, all of both sides of the ball. Miles Sanders, Deuce Vaughn, Brevin Spanford, Josh Butler, Trayvon Diggs, Justin Barron. I mean, that's a long
Kalen
list
Carson?
of guys. Yeah, Kalen Carson's. Yeah, I forgot even Kalen Carson. Yeah, was not out there either.
Seatbelt.
So yeah, you're banged up. I mean, that's plain and simple. Those are 4 or 5 starters, and then you don't have the ability to pull into the reserves quite yet because you're hoping those guys come back.
NGB.
I don't know.
I spent most of my time over there because I had low expectations for our defensive backfield. I mean, you're going against 2 of the premier route runners in the league. That's not to say that you don't go against good route runners every single day. You have CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. I mean, those guys are well respected, obviously, in the league. Devontae Adams is world renowned for his route running. Like, it's no matter who you ask, it's not debatable. He's one of the best route runners in the last decade of the game of football. And people argue whether or not he's lost a step. Doesn't look like it. Puka Nacua, one of the rising stars at the receiver position. Both of those guys are really good at what they do. And then they have a couple other guys. They got Tutu Atwell. They got Kennington? Not Kennington. What's his name? Whittington.
Whittington. Former Texas Longhorn.
Yeah, they got some guys. Anyways, our defensive backfield is ravaged right now. I mean, Kyer Elam's had one heck of a camp. He's somebody that you obviously traded for. He came into the building. He's been balling out in camp against our guys. But these are new concepts. These are new personnel groupings, new motions, new shifts, new everything, right? So you're facing this stuff without being prepped, without film study on this opponent. So your reactionary time is going to be delayed. Also, the thing that contributed to them being Tostito'd really on the back end is that you expected a pass rush. I spent my time over there because I had high expectations for the pass rush. Not only because what I've seen in practice, but also because these guys look good on paper. These are guys that we have high expectations for. This is a room that I consider to be one of the deeper position groups on this roster. And it felt like all their moves just went away. It was almost like you went to go play Mortal Kombat. You had all your moves all written out on a piece of paper. Anybody else do that? I had my moves written out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then right before you play your opponent, you lose the paper and you're like, oh, crap.
Oh, no.
Now you're just button mashing. Now you're just button mashing.
That's what it looked like. It looked like the guys were they forgot everything. It was just
button mashing.
Donovan Ezraku, all the moves that we've seen him do in training camp to date. It was all bull rush. Everything that we've seen and we know that he's capable of doing, it's like it just somebody Men in Blacked him, just neuralized her. Just took it away from him. We had zero pass rush from the outside. We had zero pressure from the interior. Every quarterback that stepped up for the Rams had the prettiest pocket in the world. And when you pair that up with their ability to run routes, the way that these guys run routes, paired with Sean McVay and his concepts, that's a no-winning combination. So defense had a rough time in that regard. I felt like they did a good job, relatively good job against the run. I liked what I saw from my linebackers. I think that
I thought the linebackers had a good day.
I liked the linebacker room.
Both ones and twos. I thought guys like Leofow and Clark had a good day.
The linebacker room is deep.
Yeah.
They're deep, and they're showing up. And some of the things that I was looking for was the discipline. Obviously, you're not supposed to take guys to the ground, but I was looking for leverage. Yes. I was looking for, fittings, right? Are you fitting on the outside shoulder, to send guys back in? I saw a lot of that forcing guys back to the interior defense. So a lot of things that are going to show up on game days, but that you don't necessarily see on the practice field. So encouraged by the linebacker group, disappointed in the defensive front, and expectations were kind of met by the guys that were competing at the cornerback and safety positions.
Would you just chalk that up to a bad day for the defensive line? Like you're saying, like they're not instilling the moves that they've learned so far, or was it one of those things where it's like you have a plan until you get punched in the mouth, and then the offensive line for the Rams was kind of just giving you enough fits to where you're like,
I feel like our guys froze. So I mean, I guess you can chop that up to a bad day.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you're a little bit. Bless you, my brother. Sometimes I think you might be a little bit too hype. You're obviously also you're trying to. It's very difficult as a defensive lineman to temper your tempo. You know what I'm saying? While still getting good reps. Like, I don't want to go balls to the wall because I don't want to push this guy over. I don't want him to fall, but I want to win the rep. You know what I'm saying? But I want to give our guys a good look. It's very difficult. It's hard to play in between speeds as a defensive lineman.
Well,
right?
It looked like yesterday the Rams were playing one speed and Dallas was trying to play a speed.
I feel like holistically the Rams were playing at a faster pace than the entire Dallas Cowboys team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, part of that, Josh, I like the question you asked there because you can also compare it to who had a bad day on the offensive side. Just give me an answer there. Who had a bad day on the offensive side? As a unit, not an individual.
Oh, offensive line.
There you go. Who had a bad day on the defensive side?
Defensive line.
Defensive line. Traditionally, Dallas's defensive line has looked better against our offensive line, against the Dallas offensive line.
Right.
Because maybe the offensive line just isn't where we thought it would be at this point in time. And that'll be a focus of camp from here until Saturday and then on next week in Oxnard and then when they get back to Frisco. Because of Tuesday, the microscope is going to be on guys like Booker and BB and Steele and, of course, the backups that are on the left-hand side as Nate Thomas really fills a hole there too. Because of what happened Tuesday, there's going to be a microscope now across the board for the offensive line.
As there should be. I mean, you have to – that has to be right. We're talking about Dak getting passes out, using the air attack to set up the run, but he can't do that if the protection's not there, if his pocket's not clean. And you also don't want Dak, as much as he's scrambling this year, you don't want to see him do that on a consistent basis. That's not a level of winning in terms of here for the Dallas Cowboys. It's concerning. It is.
There's a lot of fans out there that are, of course, upset with the practice, upset with all of that. But I want to end today on a positive note. We got about 10 minutes left. Who stood out? Who was playing at a high level in the practice? Because as much criticism as we've just given for 40 minutes of the show, there were good things that happened.
Yes, I'll speak to the defense. I liked what I saw out of Shamar James and Jack Sanborn. I liked that a lot. That was good stuff from them. These guys were playing downhill. They were playing fast. They were playing physical. There's a number of times where they were protecting the offensive player, but at the same time, give them a little and when they came a little by pulling back and not fully engaging, not tackling intentionally, they were still knocking these guys down to the ground. So there's a lot of power behind those linebackers. So that's what I liked. That's what I saw.
I'm going to go to the offensive side of the ball, and this also goes to how Dak was, when he had time, how he was able to get the ball out and make good throws. But CeeDee Lamb, my God, man. My God. This time last year, CeeDee wasn't out here in Oxnard. There was a holdout situation.
We were talking about lack of separation.
Yeah, lack of separation, some rust.
Receivers couldn't get open.
Rust to start the season. None of that exists. None of that exists right now with CeeDee Lamb. He is torching all comers in camp, and not just teammates on the opposite side of the ball. We saw him having his way with the Rams defensive backs.
Tweet like a tiger?
I'm talking, dude, the route running, the separation. I mean, he's putting it was like No C versus Tommy Yarrish out there. The yardage that he was putting between himself and defensive backs, climbing the ladder when he needed to climb the ladder. Everything that makes him arguably one of the top two or top three best wide receivers in the league is continually on display, rep in, rep out. So shouts out to CeeDee Lamb. He looks like he's set up for a monster, possibly even another career season.
We're all friends here, right? Everybody watching.
Place.
I mean, this is a
safe space.
It's a safe space, right? Yes, all the way through. I want to tell a little secret about yesterday's practice. We had CeeDee Lamb mic'd up. And it's going to be a video on Dallas Cowboys.
Is it?
Give me.
Really cool.
Just our boy.
Give me.
There are a lot of Beam was a big part of it. Scott Purcell hooked it up. They all got it done. It's going to be really cool.
Only on Talkin Cowboys do you guys get this information.
You're going to get the insider info. They could probably get it elsewhere too.
No, they don't.
But but I wanted to say that because there were a couple times where he was getting flags thrown at him. And CeeDee was frustrated. I mean, there were a couple times where he was jawing back and forth.
He was in it.
But he did a good job of kind of reeling that back in,
Mm-hmm.
and then turning in a second half of practice that was just nasty. I mean, he was really good in the second half of practice.
But you also
because
know
it was early on where he was getting those flags thrown. I can't wait to see how that kind of works its way out. I know it's going to be an edited piece, and it may not be chronological all the way through, but I want to see what he said to certain spots in that practice yesterday, because I thought he showed it on the field.
But really quickly, to that point, I think it's key that people understand what Kyle just said about CeeDee Lamb and his demeanor in between or after and during every single play. He's treating these practice and scrimmage reps as if they're game reps. One of the biggest knocks that a lot of the fan base had on CeeDee Lamb over the first couple of seasons he was in the league is that he gets, when things don't go his way, he shuts down.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, things weren't going his way, and he was jawing, and he was staring down, and he was letting people know, like, no, I'm not going for that. It was the competitive dog nature showing itself in a much different, a much more explosive way, which goes to the maturity. So I just don't want anyone to gloss over that point that Kyle is making, because when you tie it into the growth of CeeDee Lamb, he is most certainly becoming that guy, as if he weren't already that guy.
Love it.
I have to give a big shout out. Who's throwing CD the ball? Do we know?
It's that number 4 guy.
The number 4 guy.
Yeah. Rain Dakota Prescott.
Oh, that's right.
the guy's name.
Yeah. To see him, to see the offense struggle early on, and to see, and this is something
you're
Brian,
about to piss off Willy Wonka.
Well, to see Brian Schottenheimer pointed out in the press conference afterwards, it's like they were having trouble communication, like with communication throughout the entire practice. But I think Dak Prescott saw what was going on early in the offensive drills and was able to communicate with his team and start airing the ball out. Like, he understood what was happening. It's like, okay, this offensive line is not holding up today in this scenario. We need to air the ball out. I need enough time to air the ball out. I think he was doing enough there to communicate, and he was throwing dimes yesterday.
Yes, he was.
That was impressive, and he was making the right reads. Even if there were the check downs, he was making the right reads. I love to see that from Dak, of course, and like you would expect that from your starting quarterback of 10 years.
Dakota Dimes, if you will.
Dakota Dimes. I like
Dakota Dimes.
The last guy that had dimes.
No, yeah, well,
it didn't really work out. So
it's because he wasn't as good.
He's in Indianapolis.
Because he wasn't.
All right. To that point, though, the most dominating portion of yesterday's practice for either side, on Dallas's side, was when they dominated a 2-minute drill on the offense.
Yes, absolutely.
And who was that credit to?
Dak. It was Dak. Tolbert had a good.
Jonathan Mingo.
Mingo was involved.
Hunter Lipke.
Got the tight ends involved a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought that
CD.
portion of practice made me feel exponentially better, because it wasn't just they succeeded. The situation was they had a minute and 30 seconds with 2 timeouts to get from the opposite 40 to the opponent's 30-yard line to set up a field goal, and they like, it was an end of game scenario. They got to the 30-yard line with like 40 seconds left. So they won the drill with 40 seconds left, and I think McVay and Schottenheimer looked at each other and said, "You want to keep going? Like, let's see if they can go down and score." So they started going. They got down to about the 19, and then they quit the drill. They would have kept going and may have had a chance to score, because they nixed the drill with like 12 seconds left. They went down and spiked it with 3 seconds left, so that was the end of the drill.
Gotcha.
But they set it up. It was perfect. They moved down the field methodically. It was on Training Camp Live, the one with Nicole and myself, so you can go and watch the whole sequence, and we outlined it as it went along.
DallasCowboys.com.
But they dominated that whole scenario, and I liked what they had in that spot.
Question for you, 'cause I know we got to get ready to hop off.
We're getting close.
Who was the most dominant performer for the Cowboys yesterday, in y'all's opinion?
I gave it to Turpin. Yeah.
Turpy Speed.
Yeah, I thought Turpy Speed had a really nice day.
Okay.
He was very active.
Rodriguez, who you got?
I love seeing Turp out there. And like I said, he was involved in the offense in a way that I was really hoping after he signed that contract. Like, all right, like, we need to see him as a receiver. We need to see him as a running back. We need to see him more involved. It can't just be kick returns. So I love seeing that. For me, again, I'm going to, because of the 2-minute drill, I have to give it to Dak.
Give it to him.
And I'm going to give it to CD just for all the reasons I've already stated. Demeanor, ability to separate, athleticism, and just another elite day that he's stacked out here in camp.
If you had to give it to somebody on defense, who would it be? If you had to.
Ooh, before, can I give it to somebody who's kind of offense and defense?
Go.
Oh.
Brian Anger.
He was really good yesterday.
I'm not kidding at all.
He was
I am not
good.
kidding.
He was dropping bombs.
Brian Anger was
he's
kicking
a weapon.
60-plus
He's a
yard
weapon.
punts. Do y'all understand how much of an advantage that is?
Yeah.
If you are to have
Field position.
the best field goal kicker And the best punter. Just in case y'all forgot, BA was All-Pro a couple years ago.
Yeah,
if you have the All-Pro field kicker and the All-Pro punter, do you know how much of an advantage that is for your team?
Massive.
The ability to kick field goals from wherever the heck you want to on the field, score points, and the ability to flip the field. I know it's not sexy, it's not popular, but I'm telling you, those are the minute details that are going to set your team up for success. If you get in a situation and you need to pin these guys down, there it is, Brian Anger.
Can't wait for fans to be like, yeah, joint practice MVP, Brian Anger. Well, that shows how good of a practice it was. It was really good. I like the question, who would you give it to on the defensive side?
If you had to.
If you had to.
From what I saw, I was trying to watch a lot, but I liked what I saw out of Shamar James.
Yeah.
I like what I saw out of Shamar James.
That's a rookie getting some love.
Yes, very much. So he's a big. He if you were to draw up a linebacker, he's what they look like.
Yeah.
You know, him and Kenneth Murray, those guys look like walking linebackers.
I'd probably say I didn't get to watch a ton because we were on the offensive field a lot. From what I saw, I thought Elam was fine. I didn't. There was some back and forth, I think, late in camp. I haven't seen the film yet.
Just delayed out the breaks.
And then Bland, they didn't throw at Bland a whole lot.
For good
so
reason.
I would have to say,
which is why for me it's Deron Bland.
You said what?
That's why for me it's Deron Bland.
Yeah,
it's because his presence and his ability to cover made them challenge other cornerbacks. Yeah. So I'm going with Bland, the quiet assassin yesterday.
Yeah,
I liked Maris Leafout yesterday. I think he was reading really well. Fun. He was all over the place. Love to see it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Leafout too.
Officially, switch it up.
You're right, because I wasn't even thinking. I was thinking about the linebackers as a whole: Sanborn, James, but Leafout and Clark. I thought both had really good days.
And on a day that Schottenheimer was emphasizing communication, he was a guy that was really John. He was in there communicating with his team.
And shout out to him for putting on some size too.
Yeah,
he looks more like a linebacker than he did last year. Last year he looked like a corner.
And yet looks. I don't know if he looks quicker or if he's just reacting more quickly because he's diagnosing plays. Whatever the case may be, he's playing faster.
And he's more comfortable in the scheme, too.
He's playing faster.
He said it himself. He feels more confident.
So, bad news is we've run out of time today.
Come on, man.
Good news is
Farfanugan.
We've got a show on Friday.
We got another
So we got one more episode of
Another
Talkin Cowboys this week. 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central Time on Friday.
Because we the best.
And we will lead you into preseason game number 1, where Isaiah Stanback will be on the call.
Yeah.
CBS 11 and the Cowboys television
You're
network.
Broadcast?
Yes.
Interesting.
You said it in the Telemundo voice, too.
ESPN de Ocho.
There you go. All right, that's going to do it for us. For Isaiah, Patrik No C. Walker, for Josh Rodriguez, Chris Beam in the front, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Oxnard, California. We'll see you on Friday.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?